this lesson is going to be simple interest. So this is when you get a loan or you put money in the bank. It's a very basic way of calculating interest on something like that. So as we go through the lesson, of course, you fill in your notes. You will have work that you need to do at the end. Um, all right, so simple interest, or we just call it interest, is money earned on savings accounts or investment. It can also be money that you pay back when you borrow money. So it's what you make on interest that you earn for putting for someone using your money, or it's something that you pay back to other people when you borrow money. Now the principal, it's not like the principal at the school, spelt the same, but the principal is the original amount of the loan or investment. So how much did you borrow or how much did you lend? And then your annual interest rate, or we're simply going to call rate, is the annual rate charged for borrowing expressed as a single percentage, the actual yearly cost. So the percent that you're going to pay back. All right. And then time is how long the investment or the loan will exist. How long is it? The formula for this is interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time. So interest is equal to principal times rate times time. Real simple situation there, all multiplying. All right, so here we have a scenario. And Antonia deposits $500 into a 5-year certificate of deposit, or a CD as the banks call them, that will earn 2.3% per year. How much interest will she earn when the CD matures? So she's letting the bank borrow her money. The bank uses it, and they're going to pay her a little bit for that. So the first thing you need to do is identify the parts. So I went in and I highlighted or underlined the different parts and I color coded them. So the interest is, we don't know that value. That's the unknown right now. Our principal is the $500 that she deposited. Our rate is 2.3%, but we're going to put that as a decimal. So 2.3 per 100, or divide by 100, and you get the decimal 0.023. And of course, our time is for 5 years. We substitute those values into the formula. So I equals PRT. We substitute, we get 500 times 0.23 times 5. You put that in the fancy dancy calculator, and you're going to get $57.50. So the bank's going to pay her $57.50 after 5 years to borrow her money. All right. So again, identify the parts. There's only 4 pieces. Remember, our rate is our percent that has been converted into a decimal. Percent divide by 100 gives you that decimal. All right, here's another scenario. Devin took out a small loan to buy a dirt bike. The loan company is using simple interest. How much money will Devin pay in interest for a $2,700 loan that will be paid back at 3.4% over 4 years? So we identify our parts. Our interest is the part we don't know. That's what we're trying to learn. The principal is how much he took out for the loan. So $2,700 is his principal. His rate is 3.4%. So 3.4 divided by 100, we get the decimal 0.034, and his loan is going to be for 4 years. So we apply the formula, I equals PRT, substitute the letters for their values, $2,700 times 0.034 times 4, and he will be paying back $367.20. So not only is he going to pay the $2,700 that he borrowed, he's going to pay an additional $367.20 as interest. So that's the fee for borrowing that money, letting him use it. All right. Sometimes the question will be a simple interest question, but instead of trying to find the interest, you may be trying to find the principal, you may be trying to find the rate or the time. So if that's the case, we can use the interest formula, use our algebra rules to find the unknown value. So if we start with our basic formula, interest is equal to principal times rate times time. In order to get the formula so that we can find the principal or the P, since we're multiplying our T, then we'll just divide it. So interest, of course, we divide on one side, we divide on the other, so that becomes interest divided by rate times time. Same thing with rate. We want rate R by itself, so we're going to divide the principal, the P and the T, from both sides. So we get interest divided by principal times time. And then, of course, our time, same situation. This time we're going to divide by principal times rate. So these next few will model these kind of problems. All right, how much principal is needed to earn $500 using simple interest at a rate of 5% over 2 years? So we identify our parts, our interest, that's how much we are trying to earn, is $500. The rate was 5%, so 0.05, that's 5 divided by 100. Our time is 2 years, and the principal is what we're trying to figure out. If we want to earn $500 in 2 years in this situation, how much money do we need to put in the bank? So we're going to use our interest formula, but we're going to manipulate it for P. So principal is equal to interest divided by rate times time. We substitute our values. So $500 divided by 0.05 times 2. And we'll end up with $5,000. So to make that $500 in 2 years at 5% interest, you've got to put $5,000 in the bank. So again, we find the parts, we substitute them in our formula, and I've color coded it to make it easier to see that. All right, this time we're looking for rate. So Tommy made $88 of simple interest on a $100 savings bond. What interest rate was the interest rate if it took 3 years for the bond to mature? So this is where you put money in the bank or you buy government savings bonds. So you buy the bond, and after a certain amount of time, it matures and you get a little more than what you originally bought for. So we identify our parts. He made $88 of interest. So that's the interest on a $100 savings bond. So that is our principal. We do not know what the interest rate is. That's our unknown, but it was for 3 years. So we're going to use the formula, I equals PRT, manipulate it. So rate is equal to interest divided by principal times time. We substitute our values, 88 divided by 100 times 3, and we end up with 0.29, and then the 3 just keeps on repeating. So we're just going to leave it at that. Now, this is a decimal point. Interest rate is a percentage. So to get it to a percentage per 100, we're going to multiply by 100, or simply move the decimal 2 places to the right. So 1, 2, and that will give us our 29.33% is our interest rate. Really good interest rate. I would buy a bunch of those savings bonds. All right. And the next one, I believe this is our last example before you get to do your work. How long will it take to pay $250 of simple interest on $875 at an annual rate of 1.5%? So we're going to identify our parts. So 250 is the interest, 875 is the principal, 1.5% is our rate. So 1.5 divided by 100 gives us our 0.015, and the time we don't know. So we're going to use our formula. So time is equal to interest divided by rate times principal. Substitute the letters with their values. 250 divided by 875 times 0.015, and you'll end up with 19 years. It'll be 19 and a little extra. So it rounded to 19 years. Again, identify, use the right formula, substitute. Not too bad. All right. So when you do your work, I need to see three things. I need to see where you're identifying the parts. So here's examples of identifying the parts. This is right out of one of the sample problems that I went over. You need to show me which formula you're going to use. So you're going to write the formula, either this one of these four formulas, depending on what you are looking for. So our T is the unknown. This is the formula for T as the unknown. And then you need to show your substitution and answer. So this is where we substitute our values into the formulas and then punch it in the calculator and write your answer down. Other than that, that's about it for this lesson. Again, identify the parts, write your formula, substitute, and then do your calculation. You have 4 problems. That's it, just 4 today. Make sure that you do the work on there. Show me those 3 things I need. And if you turn it in and I put missing, go back and look at the notes. Go back and see why it's still missing. What did you need to do? Do you need to make corrections? Do you need to show your work? Because no work, no grade. Other than that, have fun. I think these are some fun problems. They're one of the things that you're going to need to know because you want to buy a car, you want to get a loan on a credit card, stuff like that. Interest is something that you're going to have to understand how it works. So until then, I will see you online. Whew.